it was really bad how it looks. And he said, you can't train your eyeball to be stronger. It is what it is. You've protection here and here, but he obviously got no protection because the fingers were straight in. The fight should have been stopped. He couldn't see. It was a foul. He couldn't see. Then you can't fight. You know, if he'd have got knocked out with a head kick next, then it would have been worse. I don't know. And then he said, sometimes when your eyes here like that, it can become displaced and stay there. And they did a few tests on that, and they said it doesn't seem like that. And his vision on the eye that's the best eye.
Tom Aspinall and his entire family are reportedly furious with Dana White after the events that unfolded during the post-fight interview at UFC 321.
The way everybody feels. Great showing, shitty ending, you know? I think that after the Jones fight, a lot of people wrote Cyril gone off. He looked damn good tonight.
Yeah, what did you think about the fight on its way to the eye poke? What did you take from those 4 minutes?
Good. Looked like we were in for a few rounds and it was going to be a good fight.
It would seem obvious that a rematch is right on the cards. Would you like to just rebook these guys as soon as Tom is able to get back in there?
Yeah, total pain in the ass, but yes.
Tom didn't want to continue in the fight. I mean, could you imagine if you're Tom Aspinall listening to that? Could you imagine? I mean, we know that no one from the UFC was with him at the hospital. We saw that on his video blog. Could you imagine how this guy must be feeling on this Monday? Everyone calling him into question, his heart into question, because he got poked in the eye multiple times, one of them knuckle deep, and his promoter is saying Tom didn't want to continue. Not Tom was fouled with an illegal strike, multiple illegal strikes. Let me ask you a question. If that happened in some alternate universe to AJ, to Anthony Joshua, what do you think Eddie Hearn is saying? Eddie Hearn's probably still at the hospital with him. That's the difference. That's what I talk about. How do you think Tom feels on this Monday? You think he wanted it to end like that? Do you think that Tom was saying to himself, you know what? I got a bloody nose. The going got tough here. Peace out, guys. I'm out. Again, the fight wasn't as one-sided as people want you to believe. Yeah, I know it was weird that he was bloody. And yeah, I know it was weird that he was losing a round. We never see him lose rounds. We never see it go past the 2 minute and 2 second mark. That's his fight average going into this fight. But do you guys really think that he was looking for a way out?
What is he doing? The left one was really deep. The left one was really deep. Sorry. Yeah, sorry,
got one for it.
Yeah,
twice before he got one for it.
Mike Bisping, he lost his eye. It's just a horrendous thing to think as a parent, really. And I know what it's like these days with people saying what they want, but if it's just your son, then they could lose an eye and their health, and they've got children to look after. You know, something needs doing about it. Yeah, it's horrendous for me to...
After everything Tom Aspinall has contributed to the UFC, his loyalty, humility, and reputation as one of the organization's most respectable heavyweights, Dana, White's reaction left many stunned. Instead of standing behind a fighter who had just suffered one of the most severe eye pokes in UFC history, Dana publicly stated that Tom chose not to continue. There was no mention of the fact that Cyril Gane had poked him twice, with the second incident being a deep double eye gouge that left Tom unable to see and forced the doctor to call off the fight. This wasn't a minor injury or a simple bruise. Tom temporarily lost his vision in the octagon.
E aí, Potan? Acontece.
I just walked out of watching this fight. I'm out here on campus. ESPN is right out my window if you find that interesting. All right. I share that with you because I'm mad. I'm mad. But I don't know who I'm mad at. Tom did not do anything wrong. Tom was poked in the eye. As a matter of fact, he was poked in both eyes. Now, I don't believe Cyril did that on purpose. So, I also can't, or am not mad at Cyril. But I am mad. I'm looking for somebody to blame. but I don't quite know who to blame. Now, before we get to that, okay, there was a pretty interesting fight going on. The story going into this fight is Tom has the power to just go knock him out. We're not saying Tom's a better kickboxer. We get that Surreal did that for many years of his life. We get that Surreal had over 30 professional kickboxing bouts. But Tom, a little younger, a little bigger, shown to have a little bit better power if you just want to look at results, and has the ability to knock him out. However, if Tom tests that and doesn't knock him out, he'll just take him down and beat him up.
Yeah, I don't really like the notion of that either. It didn't look like he won and then he's getting a title shot. I think people are a little bit sour about that. I just want to fight. I want to be as active as possible. I want to fight as much and as frequently as I possibly can. Yeah, I just want to get back to what I do and what.
But a lot of this could have been calmed down. A lot of this could have been quieted, could have been subdued if perhaps, I don't know, the face of the company would have gone to the press conference and said, look, that was a great fight. That was a great round. We're going to rebook it right away.
The referee had already issued 2 warnings to Cyril Gane for keeping his fingers extended. Yet Dana White never mentioned Gane's name when addressing the incident. Instead, he focused on praising Gane's performance, talking about how sharp he looked, how he managed to cut up Tom Aspinall, and even suggesting that the fight could have continued. Meanwhile, Tom was on his way to the hospital, alone and without a single UFC representative by his side. To make matters worse, he later discovered that the very man who was supposed to support him had gone on live television and criticized him. According to sources close to Tom, he's furious about how the situation was handled.
You think that Tom was saying to himself, you know what? I got a bloody nose. The going got tough here. Peace out, guys. I'm out. Again, the fight wasn't as one-sided as people want you to believe. Yeah, I know it was weird that he was bloody. And yeah, I know it was weird that he was losing a round. We never see him lose rounds. We never see it go past the 2-minute and 2-second mark. That's his fight average going into this fight. But do you guys really think that he was looking for a way out? And again, I bring up the topic that I brought up last week, and I bring up the topic that I've been bringing up ever since I've been sitting in a chair like this, talking into a camera like that. This notion of intentional versus unintentional is the stupidest shit in sports. Period. Period. You don't hear it anywhere else. Let me ask you guys a question. Yesterday, I'm watching the New York Knicks against the Miami Heat. Crucial juncture of the game. Knicks are down like 8 or so. They have the ball. Josh Hart gets called for an offensive foul. Illegal screen. Do the referees converge and say, like, did he mean to do that or did he not mean to do that? No, a foul is a foul. Ball goes the other way.
Because it went a few minutes. It doesn't mean in any way, shape or form here that Tom Aspinall was struggling. He fucking wasn't. Cyril Gane's a good technical fighter. He was making it more difficult to catch him. But it wasn't like he was dishing out loads of punishment just because Tom had a bloody nose from a punch. Fucking Floyd Mayweather had a black eye from fucking Deji. A little bit of damage when you're in there throwing big fucking fists at each other is going to happen sometime. It does not reflect the way the fight is actually going. Little bit of blood. When, as long as you can breathe out that nose, you are fine. And it's this context that in the MMA and fight world, people just fucking ignore for some reason.
I saw Tom Aspinall land some nasty stuff too. I saw Tom Aspinall throw a high kick. I've never seen him throw a high kick, and it's partly because he's never had to throw a high kick. There are layers to these guys' games that we have to find only when they're fighting someone that not only deserves to be in there with them, but can extend them to a point where they have to use all of their weapons.
I mean, look, DC knows MMA. I'm not going to say he's talking total shit there, but I think if Tom Aspinall is being experimental in there and showing us things that he's not showing us before, I don't think for 1 second it's because I'm going to struggle here. I need to throw a high kick. I've never done that before. I don't think that's in his mind at all. He's so comfortable in there. He is showing more of his skill set that he has said he's been working on in the last year.
Tom Aspinall reportedly feels betrayed, humiliated, and stunned by how quickly Dana White seemed to turn on him after one unfortunate accident. Backstage, Tom was said to have told those around him, "I've given everything to this company, and this is what I get. I didn't quit, I literally couldn't see. But when I'm back, no one will ever question me again." And honestly, who could blame him? For over a year, the UFC appeared to put his career on hold, teasing him with a potential John Jones fight, then making him wait. and eventually matching him up in bouts that didn't make much sense. Then, when he finally got back inside the octagon, an accidental eye poke ended everything. And somehow, he became the one criticized. Tom's father, Andy Aspinall, didn't stay quiet either. He publicly expressed his disappointment with how the UFC handled the situation, saying he's disgusted and that once Tom's current contract is over, his son will likely walk away from MMA altogether and transition to boxing, a place where he'll be respected and properly compensated. It's a heartbreaking situation. The UFC has lost countless world-class fighters over the years due to similar treatment. Names like Francis Ngannou, Nate Diaz, and Tito Ortiz come to mind. Now it seems they might be on the verge of losing another. If Tom Aspinall truly steps away, it could leave a massive hole in the heavyweight division. The MMA world is split. Prominent figures like Ariel Helwani and Michael Bisping have spoken out in Tom's defense, calling the eye poke incident unacceptable and labeling Dana's comments as unfair. Fans have flooded social media, with many calling Dana White heartless and shameless. Meanwhile, others, mostly Gainey supporters, argue that Tom should have kept fighting. But the reality is simple. When a fighter takes a deep eye poke like that, there's no toughing it out. There's only recovery and damage control. Tom Aspinall isn't just angry, he's finished being disrespected. And if he truly walks away, Dana White might finally see what happens when you push a real fighter too far.